In the year 638 AD, a quiet tremor ran through the illustrious, yet fiercely isolated, walls of the Tang imperial palace. This tremor was caused by the arrival of a mere girl, only 15 years old, named Wu Zhao. She entered the Forbidden City as a low-ranking concubine to the aging Emperor Taizong, stepping from the simple life she knew into a world draped in silk, stained with ambition, and perpetually scented with danger. The palace was a universe unto itself, a place where the unspoken rules of survival were harsher than any law. For a woman, power was only granted through beauty and the fleeting favor of the emperor. Yet, Wu Zhao was never destined to simply be granted anything. She intended to take it. Her beauty was not the soft, compliant kind favored by poets. It was a beauty that demanded attention, built on a foundation of sharp intellect and a relentless inner fire. Her eyes, dark and penetrating, did not flutter coyly. They assessed. She saw beyond the gold and jade to the political machinations beneath, and she quickly realized that the Emperor Taizong, though great, was a setting sun. Her future lay not in clinging to the past, but in aligning herself with the relentless energy of the coming dawn. As Emperor Taizong's health began to fail, the palace grew subdued, heavy with the scent of ancient herbs and foreboding. It was during this period of transition that the forbidden spark ignited. Wu Zhao cultivated a clandestine connection with the crown prince, Li Ji, the future Emperor Gaozong. This was a profoundly dangerous game, violating the deepest imperial taboos. Yet, the risk only made their secret meetings more intoxicating. Imagine them in the cool, silent corridors, their hands brushing, their eyes locking two souls, recognizing a shared hunger that transcended mere physical attraction. Li Ji, perhaps less decisive than his father, was drawn to Wu Zhao's powerful, unwavering resolve, her covenant of the flesh and the future. In her presence, he felt stronger, more capable of ruling. She was his secret advisor, his forbidden confidant. When Taizong finally passed, the custom was absolute. Wu Zhao, without a son to anchor her, was cast out to the Ganye Temple, destined for the gray, resigned life of a Buddhist nun. For any other woman, the transition from imperial silk to rough homespun cloth would have crushed the spirit. But for Wu Zhao, the temple was merely a tactical withdrawal. She did not pray for forgiveness. She prayed for the execution of her plan. Her conviction paid off. Emperor Gaozong, unable to shake the memory of her fire, broke tradition and visited the temple in 650 AD. He found her there, still radiating a captivating vitality beneath the nun's habit. The air of sanctity only seemed to amplify the intensity of their old desire. Their reunion in the cold temple halls re-established their pact, a silent promise of power and shared intimacy. Gaozong brought her back to the palace, giving her the new name Mai Niang. This decision was fatal for two women, the current Empress Wang and her favored rival, Consort Xiao. They foolishly believed that this former concubine would be a pawn to divide the emperor's attention. They had invited a predator into their sanctuary. Once back in the glittering, cutthroat environment, Mai Niang moved with the predatory grace of a serpent, shedding its skin. She was relentlessly focused on the emperor, cultivating a deep, reassuring sense of stability. While Empress Wang and Consort Xiao descended into petty squabbles, Mai Niang offered Gaozong not just pleasure, but strategic partnership. She made him feel capable, loved, and absolutely understood. Her initial move was an alliance of pure calculation, a temporary, cold-hearted pact with Consort Xiao. Together, they worked to systematically erode the dignity and authority of Empress Wang. Mai Niang was a genius at this, using quiet rumors, small acts of sabotage, and most importantly, her growing control over the palace staff. She treated the palace servants with such calculated kindness that they became her eyes and ears, eagerly betraying their former mistress. But the moment Empress Wang's position became vulnerable, Mai Niang broke the cold alliance without a second thought. Consort Xiao instantly became the next rival slated for erasure. The court had been slow to understand. They were not dealing with a fragile flower, but a force of singular, terrifying ambition. The historical moment that defines Wu Zhao's ruthlessness is the story of her infant daughter. This act remains the darkest stain on her legacy, a testament to the price she was willing to pay for the ultimate prize. The records paint a scene of chilling theatrical precision. Empress Wang had visited the nursery. Shortly after she departed, Wu Zhao allegedly entered the room and smothered her own child. She then covered the body, erasing the evidence with cold efficiency. When Emperor Gaozong came to delight in his daughter, he found the baby lifeless, pale, and still. Wu Zhao's performance of shock and staged fury was flawless. "Who has been here?" she demanded. Her loyal servants, already corrupted or paralyzed by fear, pointed directly to the most powerful, most obvious target, Empress Wang. The emperor, blinded by love and grief, was instantly convinced. "The queen dared to commit a crime against my child," he roared. This single, horrific act, whether literally true or an expertly managed smear campaign, destroyed Empress Wang's credibility and the emperor's last shred of loyalty to her. The stage was set for the final, devastating blow, the accusation of sorcery and black magic, the most terrifying charge in the empire. In 655 AD, Emperor Gaozong deposed Empress Wang and elevated Wu Zhao to the position of empress. The fallen queen and consort Xiao were banished, only to face an unspeakable end, orchestrated by the new empress. The new empress had demonstrated a terrifying truth. Her personal desires and ambition would consume anyone who stood in their way. With the emperor frequently incapacitated by illness, Empress Wu Zetian began to rule in his stead, quickly establishing herself as the true power behind the curtain. Her control was absolute, and her influence over the administration was meticulous. But merely ruling from behind the scenes was not enough for a woman who had tasted supreme authority. The world expected her to eventually step down for her son. Wu Zetian had other plans. In the year 690 AD, at the age of 66, she committed the ultimate act of defiance. She cast aside the Tang dynasty, deposed her own son, and declared herself emperor. She became the one and only female emperor in China's 2,000-year history. Her title, Sage and Divine Empress Regnant, solidified her legacy. This unparalleled power brought with it an unparalleled freedom, the freedom to indulge her deepest, most personal desires without consequence. As empress, Wu Zetian was not content to follow the restrictive path of traditional female rulers. She did the unthinkable, creating a personal retinue of young, robust men, reversing the centuries-old tradition of the emperor's harem. At an age when most women were relegated to quiet contemplation, Wu Zetian was actively seeking out gifts of the flesh. This was more than mere sensual indulgence. It was a political statement. She asserted her absolute right to take what she wanted, defying the moral boundaries that had always constrained women in power. She sought men who were physically strong and well-endowed, utilizing her imperial network to bring them into her inner chambers. The first, the peddler Zhui Huayi, was a symbol of her bold break from convention. Later, the renowned Zhang brothers, Zhang Yizhi and Zhang Changzong, became her most famous companions. These men, described in history as unparalleled treasures in their physical vitality, served the empress in a deeply personal and intimate capacity. The sight of these young, handsome men moving freely through the empress' private apartments scandalized the conservative court. Officials plotted and protested, but Wu Zetian remained unshakable. She saw her sensual freedom as a component of her overall strength, maintaining her youth and her iron grip on the empire. At the age of 82, she was still receiving new companions, a final, stunning display of a woman who refused to let time or tradition extinguish her vital spirit. The life of Empress Wu Zetian is an exhilarating, often horrifying, case study in ambition, unbound. She was not just a historical figure. She was a force of nature driven by a singular, consuming desire to experience life and power in their most absolute, unfiltered forms. She used every tool at her disposal, her beauty, her intellect, her patience, and her unparalleled ruthlessness, to climb from the lowest rung of the harem to the very peak of global power. Her story is a chilling reminder that when desire meets opportunity, the moral cost is often irrelevant to those who truly crave the crown. She achieved a freedom that no woman before or since has ever matched. The freedom to rule without limit, and the freedom to indulge her every forbidden desire. She remains the ultimate anti-hero, the woman who proved that the serpent's sting is often the most effective path to the dragon throne.